Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's special edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And y'all, I'm calling it special because you're gonna be guided through an experience um, that can really shift something in your consciousness and in your physical body, in your mind, and the way that you connect quite profoundly, very quickly. I've had several experiences with Christabel and her Breath of Bliss. And I've gone into deeper ceremony with some of her tracks. And every time I'm connecting with something that wasn't just available in my current reality as I was walking around doing my 3D stuff. But the pause, the breath, the rhythm, the way that Christabel facilitates, it just took me to places of connection with spirit guides, of connection to receiving messages from higher self that were unmistakable. And maybe a little bit later on the call, I'll share some more of the specifics of those experiences because I want y'all to understand what else is possible for you as we dive into today's call. And you're going to learn about Christabel and what she's bringing in and why it is that she has devoted her passions to getting this work out into the world. So I hope that you all really relax into today's call. If you haven't found a comfortable place to lay down or grab a pillow, do it now. Do it now because we're going to get into about a 25-minute experience a little bit later on the call. And I want y'all to be relaxed and really open to receive because it's going to be an amazing call and amazing experience. To tell you a little bit more about Christabel, so Christael Zamor is the visionary creator of Breath of Bliss. She offers comprehensive 300-hour professional certification programs and has trained over 1,000 facilitators worldwide in transformative modalities. Christabel guided Breath of Bliss for groups as large as 500. Her groundbreaking research on her psychedelic audios with the Sen brand lab, has helped establish her as a pioneer in the breathwork industry and say we're going to elevate getting out of your head. We're going to activate dissolving the illusion of separation, and we're going to illuminate, open to the ecstasy of cosmic consciousness. And with that introduction, Christabel, I'm excitedly welcome you to the show.
I'm so excited to be here with you, John. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, it's so wonderful. So, Breath of Bliss, can you give a description of the work that you do, how you're facilitating, and also the type of experience that we're going to be journeying into today?
Yeah, Breath of Bliss is really a modality that can help you unify all of your passions and devotions as a mystic and begin creating a habitual prayer practice, a somatic prayer practice, where you can use ceremonies as a training wheel, but then hopefully harmonize with the rest of your life. These affirmative prayer practices, these observations of the surface mind, these curations of how you interact and how you speak, um, and how you show up in the world by using this open mouth, circular, connected breathing practice. And it's really different than a lot of the average breathwork schools out there because the emphasis is really on remembering and having a revelation of your divinity, a revelation of your divine creatorship. And the fact that you literally, by the power of your thought and by the power of your word, have an ability to wake up to the vastness of who you are as a cosmic being having a human experience. So um, it's a very juicy way to transcend all the everyday suffering of the surface mind by accessing these psychedelic states, inviting a release of dimethyltryptamine for various reasons we could talk about, I'm sure. And yeah, touching the mind of God.
Touching the mind of God. And something that you do that's just really quite beautiful is you're bringing prayer work, but it's this state of inviting cosmic consciousness into the field.
Mm.
and surrounding us, and you also incorporate movement and the body, so it becomes a full experience rather than just something that we sit with just in contemplation, hoping that something's going to be activated. And what is it that inspired you to meld these different practices into this very unique
Mm.
modality that you are sharing with the world?
That's a great question. I think a huge inspiration for me was when I studied depth psychology at Pacifica Graduate Institute and various studies of anthropology, just very obsessed with how cultures, ancient cultures around the world, access expanded states of consciousness for healing and transformation. And I was voraciously attracted to studying anything that could help expand consciousness, ecstatic movement, ecstatic breath, prayer, devotional practice, fasting, like any practice that could shift awareness and peel back all of the ruminations of the human vehicle to like expose the soul's awareness in this incarnation. And so uh, I really drew on a lot of different elements from life coaching, science of mind, spiritual psychology, somatics, all kinds of, yeah, ecstatic liberation, everything I could possibly immerse myself in and weave into a ceremonial container that could allow people in 2 hours or less to have a radical shift in consciousness. So that's a little bit of the background.
Yeah, and radical shift in consciousness is true. Again, it's there was a full moon ceremony that I participated in a couple of weeks ago with you, and you later commented that that was an okay experience for you, that you've had so many better, and that was it was good, but that more could have come through. But I was laying on my couch and I was connecting to Christ consciousness. I was so elevated and so in the field, um, and really altered. It took me a good 10 minutes to try to ground back in, get in my body, come back on a computer to receive the rest of the transmission as you were offering it to us. And it's a modality that I have experienced in different ways before, and they were profound. I've actually had past life regressions coming through breath work, not anybody guiding me, just naturally. The rhythm of my own body and my own consciousness guiding me through a portal that somehow I had access to, that the breath work facilitated. But then going into some of your facilitation, some of the recordings, and being with you live as you were teaching a facilitator training workshop, and again as you offer these moon rituals for the month, what got activated in the way that you incorporate the different inspiration to allow the mind and the heart to rest into something bigger than what it knows itself to be, and to just surrender into the field was profound.
Wow. It's amazing to hear your experience in such detail. And that makes my heart happy because that is to me the ultimate fulfillment as a guide or facilitator, to just invite other people into their mastery and their genius and their own direct experience with the divine. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. What's your experience as far as how the facilitation, how the experience sticks for people? It's is it something where they kind of touch it for a little bit and they've had an experience and then they just kind of move on and go back to ordinary life, or do you really feel that something gets elevated in the process that is really helping them on their journey of awakening?
Yeah, this changes lives. I mean, that I've taught Breath of Bliss all around the world for tens of thousands of people, and then touched other people with all the digital stuff. And I'm consistently hearing the same feedback that people are having breakthroughs in consciousness and releasing so much suffering and old wounds they've never resolved, old unforgivenesses that have just been waiting for the baggage to be released. And also, I think even more importantly, the feedback from so many that they actually get the validation of a direct experience of the divine. Because for many of us, we might love reading the books and talking about spirituality, but to really have an embodied experience of communion with the all that is, to taste, touch, feel, sense, and know in an ecstatic state that we are all part of a field of ever unfolding good. It's like it's addictive, it's delicious, it's amazing, you know.
Yes, that's what happens. Me continue to learn and to have experiences and to share from those experiences. And again, that's why we're on here today, because I just think your work is so incredible that I wanted to be sure that we offered it to our community on Beyond the Ordinary, because again, that touching of that cosmic energy and feeling the source emanating through me. Again, I've had plant medicine ceremonies, I've done that. I've had profound meditations, I've had regressions, I've had readings that have brought it in, that induce that state. But again, the facilitation that comes from the power of this journey, um, there's nothing like it. And again, the feeling of how I feel, of what comes through my body afterwards, and feeling my physical body in tandem with the ascension of my mind into other realms, it's extraordinary. It's an experience that just can't be denied.
And there's so much creativity. I don't know about you, but when I do this, I am flooded with so many creative ideas. It's led to the creation of so many epic projects. Like I created a whole festival that came to me as a download in a breath journey by one of my students. So I believe that when we get out of our own way and we sober up from all those addictions to the thoughts and believing what we're thinking is true, you know, this consensus reality that we've absorbed just by virtue of, you know, how we're brought up in this culture, in all our cultures as humans, like when we can just go right beyond the envelope of those limitations, there's just so many miraculous ahas that are ready and waiting for us. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you find, and some of y'all are saying that my volume is low. I'm trying to fix that on my side. I apologize. And I'll try to speak up as well. Um, what's your experience with people that feel like they're stuck, or they don't know what their next step is, or they have anxiety running through them? Do you find that a continuous practice of this, or even maybe one proper journey with you, shifts things in their chemistry and in the way that they have relationship with those emotions?
I think it's different for everybody. Um, you know, I had somebody come through just one ceremony who had extreme PTSD from military service, who literally in a 2 hour period of time was able to break a cycle of self hatred and self criticism. And he went on to become a facilitator and now facilitates for men all around Australia. You know, some people it's a longer process. Like we have a lot of layers, a lot of
Mhm.
coagulated myofascial adhesions in our consciousness with painful thoughts, you know, painful memories. And sometimes it takes a little more excavation and a little more dedicated practice to peel those away. It's just such an individual practice. And some people, you know, they go into well, I just want to mention something pretty important is like it's so breath work. I'm sure so many of the people watching, you probably have done breath work already. And it's so influenced by the consciousness of the facilitator.
Mhm.
And I know so many facilitators, and even my original training was in birth trauma resolution, right? And so the whole orientation of every word said, every track of music played, every practice shared was oriented towards trauma resolution. But the thing is, for me as a spiritual practitioner and how I train my facilitators as spiritual practitioners, from a new thought, you know, perspective, if we frame breath work as a practice to solve problems, we're already stepping outside of the consciousness of source. And so I really feel the most important work for facilitators to embark on is the inner work, is the purification of their consciousness, is the harmonization of all the parts they're at war with within themselves, and the reconciliation with what they've abandoned in themselves. And, the, the, the forgivenesses, and that's why we start with the self-love journey and Breath of Bliss. It's all about elevating yourself through purification practices where you begin to become an affirmative force for everyone in your ceremony, where your whole job, you could even without words, just simply beam a knowingness of their wholeness and their goodness and their perfection. And basically, your job is to hold a field and to have your own heart so unified with the presence that is never an absence, that simply by coming into your ceremonial space, people are ratcheting up the map of consciousness to a higher frequency. So yeah, it's a whole different thing than breath, what people call breath work.
And I agree. And I appreciate that you said the facilitator really carries the tone of the ceremony that you're going to go into. And it's, again, my experience of you in the groups that you were leading when I was on the live calls and on the full moon ceremony. There's this space that you hold, and you can feel that it's such a loving, clear space. It's, it does feel unconditional. It's, you don't have an agenda where people are going to go. You're just immersing them in the field, but that also comes from the clarity that you hold and your capacity to be very stable in your awareness of the facilitation and who you're facilitating, that it gives a permission to go deeper and to go around and not even have consideration, like you said earlier, for those things that we're at war with. And for me, it's that I've always said there's never been a war that's ended a war, and that includes those inside ourselves. So to approach it from a different perspective and to really go straight to the directive of the divine, and to have a vehicle that allows you to tune into that, it's tremendous what's possible. And again, we start building that intimacy with that source light energy. We start getting more familiar with it. We start trusting it more and more. And when that happens, what's possible becomes exponential. And I'm assuming that the more that we dive into the breath work, the easier it is to tune into that taproot and ignite it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the more you practice, it's just like any other spiritual practice, right? So the more we do it, the more aware we can become. At least for me, my experiences, I just become aware of the symbiont experience of the soul, intertwined with the human. And it's this capacity to just actually have more loving awareness and witnessing of what is unfolding in the human without believing the consciousness of the human is the totality of reality. So yes.
What's your experience with people who are either maybe they're new to spirituality, and it seems a little awkward and it's a learning phase to believe that you're connecting into a source or to guides that are coming in or to a subtle realm that just we're not familiar with, and for very experienced people who navigate the field quite beautifully.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with the two ends of the spectrum of so-called experts or novices, um and their experiences of source, and what do you find that is possible for each?
Mm, I love that question, John.
Mm.
And that's part of why I love this practice, is because it welcomes everyone through the vehicle of their body into the perfect realization they need.
Mm.
And those who are brand new to a spiritual path um, often gain the validation they've been looking and searching for outside of themselves from an inside sense oriented capacity. Like they literally, when we release dimethyltryptamine from the pineal pituitary, we can have these visionary expanded states. So literally they gain psychedelic visions, right? And we believe what we have from the inside out. And so those who are new often gain that traction, this inner spiritual authority to start taking ownership of maybe what they only imagined could be possible before, because they feel like they've seen it and felt it and tasted it. And sometimes people have visitations from people who've crossed over, messages coming in. One of my early experiences was feeling like other planetary existences, other incarnations I had as other species of intelligent beings. So and more advanced people, often experience an acceleration of the work they're already doing. Those who do a lot of plant medicine, especially, find this is an organic, sustainable way to access those visionary states without always having the downtime and, the sometimes cost of like going deep into plant-based ceremonies. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's across the board a juicy practice for all.
Yeah. Y'all, when I had my experience of Christabel the first time live a few weeks ago, immediately I was thinking how many of the speakers who've been on Beyond the Ordinary would benefit from being in this space, that don't take the time to nurture, enough time to really nurture and to dive in and to tap these tribunes of wisdom and information that's within them. And this is a vehicle that just facilitates something so profound.
Mm.
And so I'm actually, very soon I'm going to talk to Christabel about this more, but I want to start something for leaders in our industry to have access to this type of facilitation on continuous spaces, because I know what's elevating in me because of it, and I know how it's going to benefit them. And if all that happens, it's going to benefit everybody that we choose to be in service to. So again, I've been really excited about today's call and to offer this to all of you. And saying that also, if you're getting on the call just now, um, I want to encourage you to grab a pillow, find somewhere that you can lay down while you're listening to this, maybe create some space, because we may be moving our bodies as well. Because Christabel is going to take us in about a 25-minute journey, so that you can experience Breath of Bliss. Um, what excites you most about this?
Well, I think I'm seeing this comment. I kind of want to respond to this comment because it does relate to what excites me most about this.
Oh, awesome.
I see Suzette made a comment and she said the healthiness of the facilitator is so important. And
Mm,
Suzette, I just feel like you have hit the nail on the head, because what excites me most about facilitating this work is the invitation to excellence as a being, as a human, and raising standards on health, vitality, well-being, like the entire invitation as a guide of consciousness to do my inner work and to put in my daily meditations and prayers and the saunas and the fasting and all the things, like just really seeing how can we as modern day mystics kind of curate our own consciousness to the level of the ancient mystics and sages, so we actually do have that capacity to be high frequency channels. And to me, that is the most exciting thing as a guide, when I go beyond all the chatter, the surface mind, the gymnastics that are omnipresent most of the time, and just pass through that membrane into an interconnectedness to all people and things and places. And when things start coming through that feel very authentic and pristine and that have a visible transformational impact on the people I'm guiding, to me that feels like communion. It's the most exciting part of this practice for me. So
and you're so wonderful, because I feel like you're the embodied guide. You really do teach based on your experience and guide people that way, and it's profound. What we received as participants in my experience, and it was just me, so many other people sharing just so beautifully. in a heartfelt way. And I felt the open hearts and the clear minds through all the comments coming through. And it's consistent. There's
Mm.
something just extraordinary about the facilitation. And with that, y'all, we're gonna get into a facilitation here in just a little bit. Um, Again, grab a pillow. If you have headphones, you want to put it on. There's going to be music that's playing. Christabel is going to take us through something that is going to give you a concept through direct experience that will get to live in you rather than just you hearing about what it might be and being more curious. So this direct experience is a gift from Christabel and from beyond the ordinary for all of you. Because again, I was just so excited about what this awakens in all of us by diving into the practice. Um, as people start preparing to go into the journey, Christabel, what would you suggest? What are some of the setup that would help us really enjoy the journey more?
Yeah, it's really wonderful if you have a way to close a door so you're not disturbed and set aside a space. You may want to have some layers to put on or take off because your body temperature can fluctuate. You may want a water bottle nearby in case, because we're doing open mouth breathing, sometimes the mouth can get dry. You may want to have your journal nearby, possibly something to put over your eyes so you can go deeper into a hypnotic state. You wouldn't want a pillow under your head because that can constrict the airways. So we want to have the neck kind of exposed and open. And if you want better sonic stimulation, you may want some headphones to plug in so that you have cleaner sound. Yeah, those are the
Excellent.
settings. Yeah.
So I'll prepare for that. And you know what? Before we go into the experience, I want to go through the special offer first because I want to make sure that you're in your body and here. Because what Christabel is offering to us for BTO as the offer, it's a series of 5 ceremonies. And I'll get Christabel to go into more detail with that here in a second as I share my screen. And the first ceremony begins tomorrow. I will be on that call. So I'm hoping to see you all there. And Christabel, give me a second here. I'll share my screen. And the link, y'all, for the special offer, by the way, is in the chat box. If you're watching on the BTO site, just look for the special offer button. And you can always find the special offers on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. So, Christabel, let's take a few minutes if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And if you can see my screen here, again, we have an offer for $147, y'all. And tell everybody what they're going to get.
Yeah. So this is an incredible online community that you'll join for a series of lunar aligned breath ceremonies. So we start tomorrow on the new moon in Pisces, and we continue on full and new moons. Also, the eclipse is coming up to really give you a reliable high frequency touchstone to activate your latent potential, to really get clear about what your next steps are, to start pacing your life with the support, the upward spiral of the lunar energies. So on the new moon you can sort of pull inward and like really draw upon your intuitive capacities more and really plant those seeds of what you're wanting to harvest. And then as we move into the full moon, really celebrating and harvesting the fruits and the insights and the revelations and the intuitions and the next steps at a greater level. And so yeah, you can see here, ceremony 2 is the full moon eclipse in Virgo, which is going to be incredible, all about owning your truth, elevating crystalline order and grace, elevating your standards, and just catching a vision of your own heaven on earth. And ceremony 3 is in March, and there's actually a solar eclipse new moon in Aries. And the theme is rebirth and rise and rewire your subconscious so you can rise into leadership, really step into fearless action so you can make positive momentum towards your goals. And ceremony 4 is in April. It is the full moon in Libra, and it's all about becoming the beauty way and literally starting to embody what harmony and peace and compassion and understanding feels like on the daily. And having some practice nurturing your nervous system so you can have more resilience and loving awareness of your own thoughts, of your own emotions, of others in your life. And the final ceremony is April 27th, and it is the new moon in Taurus. And it's all about nurturing safety and reflecting and really integrating the entire journey and helping you stabilize and get secure and feel safe so that from a place of solid foundations, you can take inspired action for the rest of 2025.
It's wonderful. And what happens during a typical ceremony? I love it if you describe the process and the duration and how people can be prepared to come into, if they start today, they can come into the ceremony tomorrow. Guide us through one of the ceremonies.
Yeah. So we join, we come in to the space together, and we often immediately start with I am decrees and intentions from the collective. Um, Everyone generally receiving a vibrational upgrade from the conscious curation of sharing going on by each participant, and the chat box taking a stand for the high and holy state of order they're wanting to bring forth through the ceremony. We have time, we have a Dharma talk every ceremony that is around the theme, inviting everyone present to deepen their own self awareness and gain clarity about how they can be in greater presence and awareness and embodied action in living their purpose. Because I just want to mention, this whole series is really designed for light workers and luminaries and people who they feel called. They're called to be here to make a difference, and they're wanting a community that feels supportive and encouraging and validating their intuitive urge to rise up and be more visible and to be, seen in bigger ways and to share their gifts. So as we move out of the intentions in the Dharma talks activate this urge to rise up, right? And we have ecstatic dance that we enjoy, where we start expanding the lungs and energizing the body and flooding ourselves with life force energy. We have heart opening practices, and then the hour-long circular connected breath journey, where the true intention is to stimulate a psychedelic state to reverse engineer those bliss states so that we have a taste of what it's like to have the God intoxication. So we have a reference point for the rest of our lives, and we can resource ourselves when we forget. And then we finish with sharing every ceremony so that we can really connect. And I often encourage people in the family of light to network and find ascension buddies and connect. And a lot of people have found best friends in the family of light. So
And these calls can run 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, they're deep, y'all. They're, again, they're guided so beautifully and so meticulously that it's again, I want to encourage all of y'all to participate in this. Something that you mentioned, and by the way, the 5 ceremony series is $147. There's a 2 payment option on it as well. And Christabel put this together for us just to offer just easy access, but really to do it in places where the energies, and at times where the energies are heightened for us in connection to the lunar cycles, to be able to access something that is, again, being facilitated with an intelligence from source as we're activating more through our ascensionary path and collective awakening what's
Mm.
possible. And again, in the times that we're in, the facilitation that I am experiencing coming through and what that is opening for us seems like it's skyrocketing us to places that we haven't accessed before. And with the right tools, with the right facilitators, and with our right intention, there's so much more that's possible than we've even dreamed up before. And to, again, have these tools, to have the consciousness, really a technology to work with spirit and to direct our energy, it's profound. So again, super excited about this series, that y'all get to participate at this price point. Again, a 2 payment option on it. And you'll receive the link so you can start participating tomorrow live. If you miss a call, I know that there's replays.
Yeah.
And something that I want to address also, and we'll go deeper into the sales page, and I'll share here in a second. You brought up that this is really for light workers and people who are really like on the path and awakening even more within them. Um, and I shared with you that that's the majority of this community. A
Hmm.
lot of people on their path, awakening something in them, knowing that they want to do something with the gifts that they're activating within themselves. And some just don't know where to put that energy or how to branch it out. And so I encourage Christabel to offer the opportunity to go into her practitioner facilitation training. And so I want to get into that as well. And it's going to be a deeper dive of Christabel to find out more about it. But I want to address it. You're offering a Breath of Bliss facilitator training, and tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the Breath of Bliss facilitator training is really the crown jewel of my purpose here and what I love sharing, because it's about helping those who feel a yearning to be of service and to make a real difference and to access their own excellence and to live as their highest self. It gives them a tangible, step by step, proven system to rise up as a high frequency channel, an authentic guide who is not leading from a place of ego or trying to achieve worthiness or to, all those lower, denser motivations. It's really a place where, first and foremost, you can excavate what is inside of you, because the first part is the self-love journey, right? So the foundation of everything is really excavating every part of you that is starving for love.
Mm,
Everything you have withheld your acceptance from in yourself, everything you might judge yourself for, everything you regret, every memory you try to push away, every person you hold at arm's length. It is a great and mighty inner reconciliation with the divinity that is the truth of everything you've ever experienced and who you are and why you're here and what you're here to share. And so from that place, and that's 6 weeks. So our first 6 weeks of the entire training is really um, unveiling your beauty and your goodness and your purity through open mouth connected breathing, through a lot of metaphysical practices, a lot of affirmative prayer, a lot of movement and coaching practices. And only after that does everyone move into the second segment of the training, and that is the actual um, Breath of Bliss facilitator portion. And that is all about starting to lean into an established structure. We have massive manuals. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of practices all outlined step by step, simply to provide those who are new to leading group spaces an easy entry, right? So it's like this safe, secure way you can start leading group experiences, whether it's for breath work or other things, right? Maybe you're like an energy healer or a channel. We have people who come into the training who are even lawyers and like doctors, all kinds of people come in. You start getting an entire framework that has had proven results in creating expanded states of consciousness in groups. And you start learning the art of transformational speaking and practicing in front of our group, being seen, being visible, leading practices, starting to play with electronics. I'm looking at my mixer right now because we teach you how to broadcast and use mics if you're doing online, and also for live events, how to really start curating spaces, physical spaces, optimizing spatial alignment and sacred order practices to prepave for the highest possible outcome in a group. And oh my God, there's just so much we share. But most importantly, it's how to empty yourself. It's how to step out of your human while still being aware of their experience, and how to sort of touch something bigger at the same time, and how to lead from that 0 point in a way that speaks directly to the souls of those present, and just holds this unwavering vision and knowingness of their purity, of their beauty, of their implicit perfection. And miracles do happen when you can elevate your own self-love to the level that the bandwidth of your heart is just, it's so coherent. You get so much more coherent. So you're literally creating a coherent field where everything comes into right relationship with itself
Mm.
in your space. So that's a little bit of what we do. And then we also have an 11-day high frequency channeling conference for those who want to meet live and teach every day. And we give you professional photos, and it's like an entire extravaganza. So,
Well, and one thing that you left out that I think is so important in certification programs is that you also teach the business practices. You
oh, yeah.
teach people how to succeed with the modality, not just learning the practices and really immersing with the ethos of what you're teaching and your why, again, to facilitate that. I'll call it that Christ consciousness in
Mhm.
different ways, the cosmic consciousness, but the business practices to really empower people to take this thing that is coming alive in them, and breath of bliss can be a spoke on the wheel, but
Mhm.
allows them to bring in their own gifts and broadcast it to the world in the way that so many people are desiring to do so right now, because their cups are filling up so much that
Mm.
there's this great desire to want to share from what we're growing with.
Absolutely. I mean, we know each other. I've invested heavily in my own business building training, over $100,000 with different coaches, because I know as spiritual practitioners, it's not enough. It's not enough just to be a ceremonial artist. It's not enough to be a healer. Like in the modern era, we actually need to know how to navigate the matrix and share our message and touch other people's consciousness and invite them in a graceful way into our fold. And so, right from the start, we often have a lot of people who don't even have the money for the training, but then they're committed to monetizing the training as soon as they get in. And so, like, we've already had a chat with some of our initiates about how they can set goals for themselves, in social media posts every week, in telling their lists and their community about what's coming forth, and creating GoFundMe's for themselves, in pre-selling their
Wow.
ceremony series before they're even done with the training.
Wow.
So, because it has to be sustainable, right? It's like we're in the modern era, and we need to know how to thrive by sharing these gifts. So, big part of the training.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for spreading this work and facilitating so many other people to bring their gifts out into the world. So it's wonderful. Everybody, the link for the special offers in the chat box. Again, package A is the 5 ceremony series. It starts tomorrow. I'll be on that call tomorrow. I wanted to provide information for the certification training because so many of y'all are so gifted and are looking for vehicles in which to share those gifts from. And I just know this is the way that Christabel teaches it, how she holds space for it, how she empowers the people that she works with. It's so in alignment with the heart and the intention that I share here on Beyond the Ordinary. And so you'll be in the highest standards of teachers and really learning from direct experience, which is so beautiful. So if you're interested in the facilitation, we've included a link to book on Christabel's calendar so you can have a conversation with her. And again, if you're serious about it, book something. I know you won't regret it. There's so much to gain from it. Um, but again, y'all, the link for the special offer, the links in the chat box. You can click on the special offer link on the webpage, or you can always go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace, find Christabel's picture on there, and click on the link to access the special offer there. And y'all, I think we're warmed up. If y'all are ready to get into an experience, I hope that y'all have found your comfortable place, have a way to get comfortable lying down, have a little bit of space to move around. And Christabel, why don't you take over?
Okay. All right, everybody. So, right before you lie down, I'd love to just orient you to the type of breathing that we're going to enjoy together. And so, this practice is based on breathing through an open mouth the whole time. Okay. So, we want to open our mouth as wide as possible. And what we'll be doing is breathing all the way in to fill the top, middle, bottom of the lungs, really expanding the lungs, and then immediately rolling into an exhale without any pause. exhaling all the way and then going back into the inhale. So this is a pauseless form of breathing through the mouth. And this is really important to stimulate that possible drip of dimethyltryptamine, is to breathe through the mouth. So what we'll do is we're going to take a couple breaths, and a beautiful metaphor I'd love to offer you is what we call the mother wave, like the infinity symbol. And so think of the ocean as it comes into the shore, and then it just really gradually goes right back out to the ocean. And open your mouth, and here we glow. And as you breathe this way, you may already find the back of your throat is slightly feeling dry, and it will self lubricate. But if you need your beverage at any point, you can have a sip. And so while we're breathing in this open mouth, circular, connected breath, you're invited to take self responsibility for the level of intensity you want to experience. And so the stronger and the faster your breaths, the bigger your experience is going to be. And the slower your breath, the more subtle. So I invite you now just to take a moment and choose a number between 1 and 10, with 1 being the most subtle and 10 the most extreme, to decide what's going to serve you right now. And if you want to type it in the chat box, you can. Yes. So taking those open mouth breaths again, why don't we take 3 more to see how it sounds? Yeah. And I see some of you are sharing numbers. That's beautiful in the chat box. Another thing just to keep in heart is you can make your experience bigger and more intense by moving your body or making sound. All right. So you get to choose how big of an experience you want to have. And as we lie down now, I invite you to get comfortable with the clarity of what is going to serve you in the highest. And once you lie down and cover your eyes if you can, and put in any earphones you have, and arrange your body in a comfortable way. Perhaps you might have a crystal or something you want to hold while you're breathing. I'm just going to offer an attunement for you before we dive in. So getting yourself settled and trusting the safety of the space that you're in. And knowing that I can see all the windows and I can see all the doors, and you are absolutely safe. And so as we are assembling ourselves in an open, receptive posture on the floor, lying down with our eyes closed, maybe stretching out the body to make more space between the joints, there's an opportunity to put the hands on the heart and to take a moment and to really recognize how good a day it is. Today is a good day. Today is an amazing day. Today is a beautiful day to touch the mind of God. Today is a beautiful day to feel the presence pulsing through your body with tingling aliveness. Today is an amazing day to expand your consciousness, to touch the fabric of space and time and feel your interconnection to all people, places, and things. Today is a beautiful day to feel all your emotions and to open your heart and to realize the truth of who you are and why you were born. Today is an amazing day to have a revelation and to touch into all the infinite possibilities for your life beyond your capacity to imagine. Today is a beautiful, beautiful day to remember your wholeness and your goodness and your purity and your divinity. Today is a beautiful day to say yes to your next steps, to say yes to your highest creative impulse, to say yes to what is beckoning you forth into the highest expression Today we say yes. Today we say, show me how to love more, to live bigger, to share my gifts. Show me how. Open your mouth and begin taking circular, connected breaths. Connecting the inhale to the exhale, and the exhale to the inhale. Feeling your body. How good it is to have a body. You can feel the air going over your lips, past your tongue, and down your throat, filling you up from the inside out. Let the breath touch you. Let the breath caress you. That's it. Deeper breaths. Feel your body. Feel your body here now. We call in the highest legions of light to be with us today, to wrap us up in the wings of grace, to bless us, to show us the way, show us how to love more fully, and share our gifts with the world. For this, we say yes. Breathe. Open your mouth wider to life. Open your mouth wider as you breathe. That's it. Wider. Deeper breaths. Maybe there's a sound on the exhale as you touch the molecules of air all around you. And the goodness of this life. Breathe it in. It's so good to be alive. Feel it. Feel it in every cell of your body. Feel the support of the universe on the inhale and the exhale, lifting you higher. That's it. Taking your breath deeper. You deserve all good things. Deeper breaths into the wings of your lungs to remember the truth of who you really are. Breathe to discover something new. Breathe to discover something new. Stretching the fabric of space and time to touch something new. Deeper breaths. Yala kaya nashtia la kuya nemetia la kaya nashtia. Open your mouth. Move your body to receive the bounty of life that is here for you. The vastness. Welcoming all the emotions of your human in this moment now. All of the memories, all of the thoughts into your heart. That's it. Further with the breath. Let the breath touch a membrane beyond your body, a celestial body, an auric body of light. The shimmering. We're taking the breath deeper now, letting the body and the hips and the legs open wider. That's it. Bold, deep, wide movement, creating space between the joints. Open your hands, open your arms. That's it. Open your shoulders. Let a deep sound out. That's it. Unlocking, unleashing. That's it. Shaking, vibrating, trembling the body. Yeah. That's it. Open, 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 opening your eyes to see beyond this life. Symbols and shapes, tetrahedrons, octahedrons, envelopes of light, golden shimmering memories, past, present, future, simultaneous lifetimes overlapping in membranes of light. Feel and know as all of the selves you've had now. Let a sound come out of your mouth. Whoop. That's it. We're lightening it up now, breathing a little faster. That's it. Shake your body a little more now. Lighten up. Calling in all of the counsels of you, all the lifetimes, all the incarnations dancing around you now as you breathe. Open mouth. Your breath is a dance with your lungs. Honey, sweetness in the air, saturating your whole being. Shake your hands, shake your body. Move your legs, move your hips. The celebration of life. Deeper breaths, deeper breaths. All the light around you, the shimmering golden light. Feel it all happening, everything all at once. And breathing higher now, higher up the mountain of your consciousness. Deeper, more powerful breaths, going as high as you feel ready now, perhaps even further. And see the big picture of who you are and why you're here. It's safe to go higher. It's safe to call in all your angels and guides, all the ascended masters, all the councils of light, all the Elohim. Open your voice, open your light language, open your body, open your breath, open your consciousness, open your heart, open your hips, open your body. Touch something higher with your breath. That's it. You know why you were born. You know why you chose to come to this planet at this time. Breathe to take ownership of who you really are and why you came here. To unleash your medicine now. Taking ownership of your standards now, of your message, of your mission. Of the truth of who you are. Breathe to be more honest with yourself. To be more real and authentic, more true to your divine blueprint. Breathe. To shed all the societal expectations, everything that doesn't belong to you. Breathe to sober up from your mind and all the surface thoughts. To shed the cocoon of the false self and touch your soul. To love more. To live from your innocence. And your for you are blessed among humans. And you came here with a purpose. Open your wings now with every breath. It's time to take ownership of your leadership. Every breath, the wings unfurl wider with brighter light, radiating a golden cocoon all around you, reprogramming space and time for miracles. You are the miracle. That's it. Breathing into your own heart. Maybe even putting your hand back on your heart. Maybe there's a smile on your face with your breath in and out. Feeling how good it is to love. How good it is to just love. Life loves you. Breathe to receive more love now, to share more love. Your love is the medicine. And the deeper you breathe, and the softer you allow yourself to be. The bigger the miracle. It's safe. You are so safe now to feel it all. It's safe to surrender and to love. You are love. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Feel it. Breathe it in. Life loves you. I love you. God loves you. Closing your mouth now. Close your mouth and breathe through your nose. Dissolve into everything. Dissolve into God. to come back to this moment. Feeling the body feeling the space. Integrating what you receive. As your eyes slowly open, stretching the body. Articulating the joints. And gently turning the head left and right. Just noticing the shapes and the colors in the space. And if you're called to write anything in your journal, you can, knowing that this is a rather rapid return and you can take all the time you need to integrate. Thank you, everybody, for trusting me, for trusting yourself, for trusting the technology to hold you and to know that we are right with you. We're all together right now in our virtual temple. Even those watching the replay, we're all in the eternal now. And my wish for you is that you continue to make time to touch the extraordinary, to touch the vastness that you really are, and to bring your beautiful gifts to the world, this practice.
The comments that are coming in, Christabel. Wow, I didn't want it to end. Oh my God, that was awesome. Yes, all here. And something that I want to bring into this space as y'all are landing back. On this broadcast, the intention is to hold a very refined state of energy, of consciousness, a certain level of regality to connection with source and knowing ourselves in that majesty. And where Christabel facilitates through her consciousness is such a beautiful vibrational match for that in which we hold here in community and intentionality. And together, we elevate each other into what else is possible as we go into a technology and the facilitation of coming together, heart and intention, and recognizing divine with all of us that's available here. And so as you're slowly coming back, I invite you to recognize that divinity within yourself that facilitated this journey that you were in. And also acknowledge those who are walking alongside with you on this journey, on this broadcast. Christabel and her facilitation. The intention of a powerful platform when we come together in unity consciousness and how we serve the world through our own inner awakening. So as you're coming back and as you take slow inhales and exhales and move your body, Christabel, I want to invite you into post experience. What are good practices or awarenesses to come into as we're aligning and attuning to this new calibrated state?
Yes. Well, first, space and slowing down. So it's really beautiful to give yourself the gift of what I call the sacred slow down, because in our culture of urgency and busyness, it's a rare and precious opportunity after these kinds of experiences to have a sacred bath and do the salt water, this essential oils. Go out if you're near an ocean or a waterfall or a lake, put your feet on the earth, roll around on the ground, and just recalibrate yourself and release whatever needs assistance, whatever psychic debris has been liberated. Just usher it on its way back to source
Mhm.
and lavish yourself. I love having high frequency Taoist tonics like Hoshu Wu, Reishi. You all know what your medicine is, blue lotus, whatever, sacred cacao, and use this as a catalyst to unlock and unleash your creativity. So I strongly encourage everyone who I guide to take their journal and to really write down, remember it, because it's like a dream. And sometimes you'll have a clear vision and it's so easy to forget the dream state. So write everything and share it with somebody, reach out to someone else in this amazing community and share with them, and
Mhm.
stay with the practice. Yeah, let your direct communion start becoming your hotline to source, so that it just becomes a regular way of seeking counsel whenever you need clarity.
Mm. Amazing. How often can someone go into this practice? Is it something we can do daily, once a week? What's the recommendation?
Well, it's so individual. It's really, everyone has a different constitution, a different threshold, different levels of nervous system regulation. So there's no absolutes. Listen to your body. If you want more, do more. I've done
Mhm.
intensive trainings where we've done 2 breath works a day for 6
Wow.
consecutive days,
Wow.
and which has been a blast off into consciousness in our bigger immersions, and that's a lot. And some people prefer once a week, once a month, or like we do in Family of Light, bi-monthly. So just follow your intuition, follow your body's guidance.
Amazing. Y'all, speaking of Family of Light and the 5 ceremonies, I want to guide everybody back to the special offer. Again, 5 ceremonies that we have access to beginning tomorrow. And I invite y'all to dive in with me. I will be there and go in with Christabel. And there's going to be a much longer experience to be had there. And again, my last experience was profound. Um, and I just am so in awe of this work and what it's facilitating and y'all's comments here. And I'm going to read some of y'all. Linda, that was awesome. Thank you, Christabel. That was incredible. From Penny, Christabel, you have a gorgeous energy and love your light language. You activated my prana kundalini from Ishan. Christine, amazing. Lara, wow. Deb, wow. So glad I heeded the call. Just caught the transmission. Look forward to the replay. That was something special. And yeah, we will run the replay. We'll post it about an hour after the call's ended. We're not quite finished yet, y'all. Y'all still hang out. Um, but this is accessible too. But I really want to invite you to go deeper into the transmissions that are offered um, through the Family of Light. Again, the special offer, because it's just another layer where you get to touch those different parts of divinity and source within yourself. And maybe even some of y'all had the physical awareness of your body tingling and lighting up. And I feel like I'm floating off the couch sometimes or off the floor in these breathing practices. And again, so much comes through. It's very individualized, but I'm aware of the activation that is possible for everybody that participates. And I'm very aware of the high vibrational state that Christabel holds during these transmissions and ceremonies. So, again, I just highly encourage y'all to participate um, in these transmissions coming up in the special offer. Again, it's $147. There's a 2 payment option, and of course, recordings and replays in case you miss it or in case you want to go back and experience it over again. Um, Chris, I'd love if you give us a synopsis into why you chose these ceremonies during the lunar cycles and how people have been benefiting from it so far.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, first, thanks again, because I just feel as you express all of this and your experience, It's so fulfilling to hear that someone as advanced as you and your practitionership and all your studies that you're receiving. So that makes me so happy. And so, why did I choose the lunar nodes? I did it particularly because, again, to opt out of this culture of urgency and busyness and electronic saturation and 5G and, you know,
Thank you,
the,
thank you, thank you.
the
Yes.
5,000 Wi Fi
Yes.
signals in apartment complexes. And, really to invite us back into intimacy with the natural cycles of the cosmos and how we can align with the natural flows of energy available to us to bring our lives into greater coherence, instead of ignoring the currents of energy that are available to us. How can we, as a collective, not only tap into the astrological invitation of each lunar moment, but also how can we tap into the vibrational updraft of being in a consciously curated community of
Mm,
visionaries and really receive, because there's so much mana in this space when people are sharing their intentions, when they are sharing throughout the ceremony and their decrees and their takeaways. I think the end is one of the most magical times because people are sharing their visions and their insights. And oftentimes, even myself, I'll read or I'll hear someone share a visionary insight and it activates a remembrance in me. So it's almost like a domino effect when we get together, like a
mm.
hundredth monkey effect, where we all start triggering each other's remembrance. And then, yeah, then comes the courage and confidence to take the next steps in our own lives because we know we're connected and we're in tune with the truth and that life is waiting, for us to move forward and share. So,
I love it. And through the stillness, you're bringing in abundance.
yeah,
Through the stillness, the turning everything else off, the abundance, the fluidity, the illusion of scarcity just it just goes away.
yeah,
It goes
yeah.
away. It's absolutely amazing. It's I someone wrote in here, wow, all my thoughts went away. Thank you, Murray. Oh, this is Joshua, yes. But I'm going to read some of these. I love this, Corey. I'm signing up to be an instructor. During this powerful session, I saw everything I've been doing in the past years all came together in this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you soon. So, congratulations, Corey. It's, I kind of want to do, and I'll get into that later, but I would be excited about doing this facilitator training also. Um, Suzette, I love the intentions of all of this. Breathwork has always been difficult for me, yet I feel I can expand myself with this. I'm
Mm,
going to join this. I stayed focused, but it was hard today. What
mm,
would you say to someone who has a hard time with, well, for me, let me start. Sometimes it's just a mental thing of the breath, and it's just getting familiar with a certain rhythm
mm.
and our bodies letting go some of the fear that the body may initially respond to. But how is it that you help people that say that they have a hard time or to start getting into more of an ease with the breath that you're facilitating so that they don't feel lost or like it's too much?
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's always full sovereignty in this experience. And that's part of why we always start with the 1 to 10 choice of intensity and just the repeated awareness that the faster and the fuller you breathe, the bigger it'll get. And the more subtle, or if you bring it to the nose, it will be more soothing. Ferrari and you're in the driver's seat. So you can upshift with all those things or downshift. And if it feels too much in and of itself, you can actually modulate between breathing through the nose and the mouth. It's just the mouth is the part that releases the dimethyltryptamine. So I'm predisposed to the psychedelic induction myself. Other things to keep in heart are um, it's a practice. It's a muscle. It's unusual. Like we don't learn how to breathe through an open mouth for an hour for an intense period of time. So it's something that you can ease into, right? Take it at your pace. You can take breaks. You can have some of your beverage. You can take a pause. And I often encourage people to let go of their thoughts because the mind the best thing about this practice is dissolving the mind, because the mind always has a story. Am I doing it right? Should I be going faster? What is everyone else doing on the call? Right? Like it's just going to be on fire like a hamster wheel. So the opportunity is to just breathe and watch what's happening, like watch the human, watch what it needs, and start tending to yourself as if your soul, just watching what the human feels and needs, and then you just give it to the human. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think what's really important to note also, again, the facilitator is key also, because if you're with a facilitator that you feel safe with, that you feel held in, and with Christabel, again, you can feel the energy that she's emitting, the consciousness that's running through there, this place of non-judgment. And I also really appreciate the different emotional layers that you take us through laughing and deep relaxation, and even moving in our bodies and embracing our sensuality in different ways to facilitate an opening as the body and the mind both release into states of receptivity.
Absolutely. And that's why I call the practice breath of bliss. And I try to avoid the term breath work, although it has recognition for people. Breath work is work. And it certainly doesn't sound like any fun. And it doesn't evoke play or, the higher frequency states, as far as I'm concerned. It feels
Mm.
like a laborious endeavor designed to transmute density, which is great. We do that. But I think there's a way to, and this is how we, in the training, we actually reverse engineer those higher states by moving through a sequence of states and types of music that slowly open, the body, the receptivity softens the mind so we can go to those more expanded moments.
Yeah, amazing. So Lara shared, the answer I got was that my spark is needed. No other spark can do the job that mine does here on earth. I love that.
Mm.
And I saw my spark come from the spark of the divine and come here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Again, once you have those direct experiences of the divine, it can't be undone. It's yours forever. And to have that as a nodal point in your awareness, it facilitates so much more of that awareness and the intimacy with that coming through. So this is amazing. Um, Joshua said it felt similar energy to some plant ceremonies I've been in. Me too, Joshua. I've gone into it, and I have actually felt some of the plant ceremonies being reactivated and expanded in different ways. Even some of my deep meditations without plant ceremony, I've felt a Tibetan monk ignite within me from a deep meditation from the past, and like another access to an intelligence coming through to inform something in the surrender and the expansion. So y'all just keep writing about your experiences. Donna, I had a lot of tears. My whole body was constantly vibrating. Kimmy, thank you. Me too. I thought, oh boy, Misha and you two together on podcasting have a soothing and healing energy and expanded field. Thank you, Mishan. Thank you so much. I really needed this. My dad is in hospice and I've been stressed. I feel connected again. Uh, Mishan, thank you for sharing that, and blessings to you and your father. And how beautiful that you took this time to calibrate into that spark within yourself, because you get to pass that gift on to your family and your father through your presence and the energy that you bring to that space as well. So thank you. Y'all,
John,
yes,
can I
please.
add something? I just see this comment too from Donna, and I just wanted to speak to what she shared. She said, I had lots of tears. And
Yeah.
honestly, I feel that's one of the greatest gifts I've received from this practice, because I grew up with so much emotional suppression and
Mm.
so much emotional unavailability in my immediate field. And so I think the part of the greatest threshold, the first threshold, was just uncontrollable weeping and crying and letting myself fully feel all the emotions I'd bottled up. So, Donna, I'm particularly celebrating your beautiful blessing of tears. It's so precious.
Mm. My first journey like this, I wept
Mm.
for hours. I actually had a past life regression within the weeping and then more weeping, and it was profound. So what can come through, it's we can set an intention to show up in innocence and
Mm.
show up in the moment. um, but y'all may be in awe and wonder as to the different experiences that you have, as some of y'all may be today. And there's always more, which is so beautiful.
Look at what Laura said. Look at what Laura said. She said it almost felt orgasmic. I think
mm,
that's worth mentioning too, because I believe there is this blissgasmic state of divine union that's available to all of us through this practice, where we go beyond just the sensuality, the sexuality of the human vehicle, but like actually expand to feel that cosmic orgasm with source consciousness. It's just it's so amazing. It is so amazing to touch into that. So way to go, Laura.
yeah, amazing. Y'all, again, the link for the special offers in the chat box. We'll be running the replay. Come back to the experience. And Christabel, before we end, also, I want to give some more attention and due attention to the certification program. And again, there's a link at the bottom of the page. If you're interested in the certification to become a facilitator, you can schedule a call with Christabel and she can run down the different options and what's available. And some options that are available because you're on BTO from the call, that we've kind of negotiated something so that you really have the most complete training that's available, um, because we love you and we know that you guys are amazing and are doing great work and your gift is meant to be shared with the world. Um, so if you wouldn't mind, Christabel, it's tell us a little bit more about the facilitator training. When does it begin? What do people need to do to enroll? Um, and yeah, just give us a little more insight into it.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing to do is to book a call, because I'll speak here, but it's so much better when we can drop in personal and one on one, and I can hear more about what you really need. And then, we can go through it. But in essence, it starts March 4th for this round. It's a 6-month online immersion. It actually involves live calls with me and my team, multiple calls every month. There is a library of light of training videos, basically an Akashic library of light for you to immerse as well in your own self paced way. We have a large amount of journaling practices, manuals, every form of support possible, even previous graduates who come in as big brothers and big sisters with you wing to wing. And again, the essence of this is becoming what I call a high frequency channel.
Mm,
How can you harmonize your own heart? How can you create greater heart coherence by befriending everything, everyone, every thought? How can you become the peace that passeth all understanding? How can you habituate touching the mind of God on the daily? How can you release and let go as a regular practice the
mm,
distractions and the distortions and all the Klingon energy from the collective that is distracting you from who you are and why you're here and the greatest infinite potential. And so much of this, it is so much a personal development and personal transformation program as much as a facilitator training, because the potency of being able to hold a field that can literally create grace, that comes from inside. it,
mm,
it isn't it isn't something you can fake. It can only be an extension of the truth of who you are. So there is a large amount of embodiment training. You're going to be practicing skills and getting lots of personalized mentorship and feedback every step of the way. You're going to be leading group prayers. You're going to be leading everyone in intentions. You'll be leading us in movement. You'll be leading journeys. You'll be practicing creating those psychoacoustic soundscapes that help people go up the predictable pathway towards bliss. You're going to be practicing inducing psychedelic states. You're going to, because I'm a very strong advocate for learning by doing. We don't know how to
mm.
do something until we try it on for size, and then we do it again and again and again, and we practice. So the entire training is really an invitation for you, to use this not only for Breath of Bliss again, but as a toolkit. We have so many people who've taken this training and they use it with so many other things that they're sharing. It's just a storehouse of practices and easily integrated exercises that can enrich what you're already doing, whether you're a coach or a guide. And again, the culmination, after that 6 months is the 11-day high frequency channeling conference. And that is the exquisite cherry on top, which is every day for 11 consecutive days, you are leading live and in person. You are, and there's nothing like that observer effect. Like we can do it online and you'll practice online, right? But when you start having to actually, as an embodied channel, as a mystic, as someone who is so strengthened their own prayer practice and inner harmonization, when you start guiding the group, that's a whole different level of
Mm.
of learning. And you learn as much from everyone else who is guiding and seeing what they are dazzling you with in their raw creativity, and realize as much as when you see people doing things that you're like, that's not quite aligned for me, right? So it's accelerated learning and purpose in person. Yeah.
One thing that you didn't mention, and I think it's so valuable, it's one of the most valuable things as a pillar of our becoming now, is the community that's being cultivated, who are coming together to be of service in this way and to share of these gifts. You have curated quite a high standard group of facilitators, and it's really impressive
Mm.
who's showing up for these things.
Yeah, I'm blown away. And that's my standard of success, is that when my students surpass me, that means I'm doing my job.
Mm,
And that's my number one interest, is how can I help everyone get there faster than I ever did and go further than I ever have, so I can become the student and yeah, and receive the gifts. And
mm,
we have, even after we have the 6 month and the 11-day, we have also a year-long advanced mentorship called the Ascension Alliance. And that's where we go much higher levels. So once you're in the community and you're fully certified, that's where even the more exciting planetary projects take place. And
mm,
we talk about, okay, what conferences can we descend on as a collective? I went to the International Breathwork Foundation conference and I co-taught an ascended master activation with all of our graduates. And to me, that's just so exciting when I can pass the mic to the students and they're not the student anymore.
wow,
They're the guide. So yeah, there's many opportunities for global collaboration.
it's exciting. Wow. Y'all, it's take advantage of the 5 ceremonies, the family of light, for sure. Get that experience. If you're interested in the facilitation, schedule your call. Do not be shy. Do not be slow about it. I just highly encourage you to do so. BTO is not getting anything from this other than the satisfaction that something may be touching your heart, that's inspiring you, and that you get to be a ripple in your light for so many others and following what lights you up. So that brings me such great joy. The replay for today's call will go up a little bit later. You can always access replays at beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replays. And Christabel, wow, I knew it was going to be amazing. You just always exceed expectations on a continuous basis. Um, and I just appreciate the way that you show up, and again, that refined vibrational quality that is truly of the highest that I've experienced in any facilitator that's been on Beyond the Ordinary and that I've known personally. um, and it comes so naturally. And I know that's what you're facilitating and teaching and holding in that high standard for others to recognize within themselves. So thank you for what you do and the way that you do it. Thank you for sharing your gifts in the world. And thank you for bringing in this technology as part of your gift so that we can all grow and expand through it as well. It's been amazing.
What an honor to be here with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everybody on the call, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for adding to the energy of today's call, for sharing your heart, for the consciousness that you bring into every experience and that you bring into this community as well. Um, for all of y'all listening on the replay and having the experience, it's just I bow to each and every one of you and namaste.
Blessings. Take
Bless,
great care of yourselves.
blessings. And I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing y'all on the next call. Bye, everybody.
Bye.